chug, 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 chug,
Welcome back to the Wizard Staff. I'm your host, Guy.
And I'm Blake.
And we are two drunk novices who like to talk about EDH. We drink and swear, so you've been warned. Please drink responsibly when you're talking about children's card games. Tonight, we are kicking off 2020 with our set review of Theros from Beyond Death. Wait, no.
You added a bit.
Beyond
extra.
Death. Beyond Death.
There you go.
But joining us tonight, we've promised him before. He's finally, been able to schedule time for us. We're really appreciative of it. My good friend, Jesse. Jesse, say hello.
It's me, the prodigal son. He's returned.
Well,
yes, it's me. Hello.
This is your first time.
I was gone, here I am.
Returning for the first time ever.
Yeah.
He's come from Beyond Death. See what
Oh, so good.
Thank you. I'm trying.
How do you come up with it? Such a good host.
People say improv's like my actual talent, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jesse, thank you for being on tonight. We are going to be doing our Theros Beyond Death.
How many times are you going to mispronounce the name of this set guy?
Probably a lot. So
Okay.
get used to it. Okay. Jesse, I don't think the audience knows you too well, so let's ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
All right. So, Jesse, what is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink? Damn, do I love Dr. Pepper. I am not an alcoholic, I gotta tell you. It's just not for me. Some of it just tastes... Yes, I'm it's like the devil's lettuce. It's like the devil's, drinks. I don't want that, dude. Only the blood of Christ. Amen.
Amen. You're pure as white,
Exactly.
Okay, so I know, but tell the audience, what are some of your favorite cards and what are some of your favorite decks that you like to play?
We can all judge you.
In terms of favorite cards, I really have a soft spot for the Dragon Lord Ojutai. I think that was the most expensive card in Standard when I started playing, and I actually bought the deck, and it was so good. That Dragon Esper deck, damn. I love that deck, but I think now my favorite card would probably have to be Lotus Cobra, because I've just done crazy things with it. And my favorite deck, I think it has to be Corvold at this point. Guy knows why.
Why?
No, why.
Jesse, I'll let you be the one to explain the deep shame that I have, but please
if you
explain
can shame
Corvold.
Guy, I will love you forever.
I was definitely in the worst position possible. All my lands were destroyed. My commander got Nevermore.
Yeah.
And I still ended up winning versus a full board Avacyn with a ton of lands. And I came back with my favorite card, that Cobra. It made me so much mana, it was just insane. And I just fogged every combat step and won. Ah!
Yeah.
Oh,
Mono
God,
white.
how'd you fuck that up?
Mono white, dude.
Yeah, it's mono white, Blake. Come on. If you ain't playing, you ain't a real one. Well, okay. Jesse, and then tell the audience, but how long have you been playing?
That one's confusing because I took a really long time. I would really only officially say I've been playing for maybe about a year now. I don't really count me playing in M15 days, because I really only played for a little bit and then I dropped off. It wasn't until Commander became a big thing that I started playing again, and seriously.
But you were playing during the original Theros set, as you...
I did. Good set.
Do you feel nostalgic seeing all the cards from this set this year? How do you feel about
the problem with original Theros was that I didn't have money back then, so I didn't have any of the gods. So I had like this. There was a deck that was around heroic, that mechanic where you like target a creature and you get an effect based on that. I did like just a really like it was blue white, like it was basically just an aggro deck that ran heroic as like +1/+1 counters, and that's pretty much what I did. I don't really see very much from this set that kind of like encompasses like a lot of heroic stuff. Unfortunately, there is a couple cards I think that kind of do the heroic thing, but at the moment it feels almost like a completely different set, just with like gods that I never really had access to before.
Until now.
Until now.
You've grown up. You've grown up, actually. You know, big boy job.
Yeah, now you have like $5 more.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, now we're gonna get into the set itself.
Did we ever say what we were drinking?
That was about what I was about to get to, Blake. Give me a little more credit. So before we get into that, Blake and I are drinking the same alcohol.
Wow.
We're drinking it in the name of my friend Fabian, who is going to be on the podcast, but couldn't due to some illness that befell before him just recently. But he recommended Delirium Tremens. It has a pink elephant on the bottle, and it's a big bottle, I will say that much. Personally, it's a Belgian ale. I don't know if you can only buy it in pints, because this is a pretty big bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't think this is something I would have ever picked up myself, or I don't think this is something I would drink aside from tonight. I mean, it's okay. Like, it's tolerable. But Fabian was hyping it up. He says it's like top 15 beers or something in the world. Blake and Jesse. Blake, this is your first time having it. Jesse, you've had it before. Blake, what are your thoughts?
So, like, I didn't know what this was, so I looked it up, and like the name of this beer is like the same as like a severe like medical condition that's bad. And so I'm like, oh. Good. And then on top of that, like the pink elephant reminds me of like the hallucinogenic scene in Dumbo, where there's the cartoon elephants like mind tripping Dumbo, and it's like it reminds me of that. So when I picked this up, I'm just like, oh god, is this gonna give me like, am I gonna hallucinate? So, but it tastes it's a pretty watered down beer, and it's like I'm gonna be honest, so I probably won't. I'm glad I had it once. I'm probably not gonna try it again.
And Jesse, I don't think you're drinking this tonight, but what are you drinking, and do you also have any like other thoughts you'd like to add to Delirium Tremens?
So what I'm drinking, I had to get as close away from, just normal alcohol as possible.
You're drinking straight holy water?
I should be. No, I'm drinking just that basic Mighty Dry Golden State cider. That's what I'm drinking. Very basic, but
Oh,
it's
so you're drinking alcohol.
It's basically
We've
juice.
Corrupted you. Good.
It's basically juice, like, let's be honest.
Okay.
But Delirium, it's fine. I mean, I think it's almost, I don't know, like, I would never go out to buy it. Like, to be honest, I don't think I'd spend...
We're just ruining... I just imagine Fabian, like, listening to this, and we're just, like, crushing his, like, dreams.
It's fine. He has a really big ego. Like, It's okay to knock him down.
Okay.
We'll have him on the podcast as a thank you, or kind of like a we're sorry you couldn't be here. Well, he'll be on soon. Don't worry, fans. We will get Fabian on the podcast. And I do agree with you, Blake. Like, when I saw the pink elephant, it did very much remind me of like that Dumbo scene. It also kind of reminds me of the heffalumps from Winnie the Pooh, if you know what I'm talking about.
Not quite.
Okay, well, I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan, so if anyone else knows what the heffalumps are, they're like these elephants that are like hybrids of like monsters, and they're supposed to be like make-believe, but they're colorful colors. That's all I had to say. I'll include some pictures in our YouTube video, but...
Good.
And here I was thinking we were going to talk about magic, but we're talking about Winnie the Pooh.
Dude, Winnie the Pooh lore is important.
Well, all right, let's get started. Let's dive right in. So, Theros Beyond Death. Theros is based around an ancient Greek themed top-down design, making use of any mythological tropes, so heroes, monsters, and gods. The set focuses on the underworld of Theros over the normal world of the plane, with a major plot point being the return of Klos, the Therosian god of destiny, who has previously trapped in the underworld, and featuring the returning planeswalker Elspeth Tyrell and her fight against her unlikely rival Ashiok.
How drunk are you already, guy?
I drank a lot last night and probably gonna be getting pretty drunk tonight too. So let's just hope. Yeah, I'm not slurring my words throughout a lot of this episode. All right, but we have some new mechanics. Well, new mechanic and a couple returning mechanics. So first we have escape. This is a keyword action introduced where it is connected to escaping. This is incorrect. It's escaping from the underworld. Spells with escape can be cast from the graveyard for their escape cost at their speed. So you can only escape sorceries at sorcery speed, creatures at sorcery speed, etc. Instants can be cast for their escape costs at instant speed. So the cost includes exiling a number of other cards from the graveyard. If a creature escapes, it may receive an additional bonus. So it is basically like an unearth or flashback, but it doesn't exile itself, and that's kind of important.
Yeah.
So it'll just go back to the graveyard. And most cards with escape are tending to be a little overcosted to what their normal CMC is. I don't know. If you have the ability to recur a card so much, I feel like that's still pretty powerful, regardless.
Yeah. They just don't want to break another format again.
And Jesse, do you have any thoughts about escape? Or do you like escape?
It really depends, because it's a mechanic that can get really hated out, and that's like it's a lot of risk in like trying to fall back on escape, but I mean it's good value. Like there's gonna be a ton of cards you just don't want to like keep in your graveyard. You're gonna have a use for it, so it really depends on the cost. And some cards in this set are pretty nutty with escape at the moment, so I guess it's not terrible.
Mm-hmm. It very much fits into the theme of From Beyond Death, as I've been saying. So, you know, you're coming back from the graveyard, escaping death. That's the theme. Elspeth has it on her Planeswalker card, but we're not really going to talk about her tonight. She doesn't do too much for our format. But we got Constellation in Devotion, old mechanics returning. Blake, I know you really love, you know, enchantments, so
yes,
why don't you explain?
Slut. Yeah.
You are an enchantment slut.
Yeah. You can't
Take it away.
You can't slut shame me if I'm proud about it. Okay. So Constellation and Devotion are old mechanics from like old Theros. And an enchantment's Constellation ability triggers every time it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under the player's control. Most of the enchantments with Constellation abilities are enchantment creatures or just enchantments in this set. In this set specifically, like now Constellation also appears on non-enchantment creatures. So like old Constellation, when I think about old Constellation cards, I think of Eidolon Blossoms and Ilea's Colossus, but that's pretty much it in terms of EDH. Like, those are like the only two good ones. And then Devotion, there are all of the old Theros gods. And then there's Grey Merchant of Asphodel and Nyxthos Shrine to Nyx, which are pretty darn good cards, each all on their own. So, I'm excited.
Yes, I have the Perforos deck. I talk about it almost every episode at this point. And I love Devotion in the sense of the gods, where, you know, it just makes Perforos so much harder to get rid of. That's the only time that I like really care about Devotion myself. And then Nyxthos, it'll come up again in a couple of the cards that we talk about tonight. Any thoughts, Jesse? You played with old Theros, and when these first came out, were they impactful then, or do you think they're more impactful now?
I mean, I know Devotion was like a super like over centralized mechanic in standard, at least. I'm pretty sure like these devotion decks were like the only thing you were doing. So you're only running monocolored decks because devotion was so powerful. I might be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure devotion was like nuts. Constellation though, I never saw Constellation.
Rip.
Which is a little sad, but yeah. That was a mechanic that like I think they didn't go too hard on.
Mm-hmm. And kind of tying this, I know this is more standard based, but tying it back to Throne of Eldraine, they had those adamant cards where they had, you know, if it mattered, you know, what the cost of the card was. So if you paid like so much of one color mana to a card, though Adamant and Devotion seem like they will both work really well in standard, at least. Who knows about Commander, you know? So I am, yep, it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes in. I'm starting to feel drunk. Let's go, guys. All right.
Yeah.
We do have the return of Sagas.
Hey,
So
guy, you happy?
I'm happy. I love Sagas, or I thought Sagas were pretty cool when they first came out with Dominaria. I was definitely like, oh, this should just be something they do all the time. Like the art is storytelling in the game.
The vertical art.
Yes, the vertical art is very nice. I love the aesthetic.
But none of them are actually good, so we're not going to talk about any of them.
Yes, sadly there are no Sagas that we will be talking about tonight. But I feel like for this set, somewhat we do have notable reprints. Like I feel like most of the time we've kind of just glossed over this part where we're like, yeah, there were a couple, you know, like Return to Nature that was in Throne of Eldraine. It's a played card, but it's not like super impactful. It's not super expensive. We have two pretty impactful reprints today. First being Idyllic Tudor, which was a $35 card before it was announced. Now it's down to like $6-7 ish, but a good white card, definitely fits in with all the enchantments. I'm happy. I'm buying a foil when I can. What about you guys? This is I predicted this. I think I told you, Blake. I was like, you know, this is. I feel like if they're gonna do it, it's gonna be here.
It's gonna be now. Yep.
Inline and Tudor was probably a little too optimistic, but this is good. I'm happy.
This was the perfect time because it's only been printed once before in Morning Tide, I think, and I already had one, so I'm fine. But I am glad that they reprinted it so everyone can have one more affordably now.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse?
Oh yeah, I'm really happy because I was about to make an enchantment deck and I was like, hey,
friendo.
I don't have to fill out 35 on this stupid card.
Just saying, it's a really good card.
I have no doubt, and I'm very excited.
You can go grab your Smothering Tides. That's if it's going in my Avacyn deck, like that's probably the card that I would go grab.
You can get
90% of the time.
You can get a Smothering Tithe for about $8 moderately played right now, and you should probably pick it up because it's a pretty good card.
It is pretty good. We also have Gary, Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So personally, I don't know too much about this card, and I know that he can be used to drain life, gain life, but I've never seen him finished. I guess Jesse in our playgroup, nobody uses him. Blake, have you ever seen him?
I lose constantly to my friend Park, who loops Grey Merchant over and over and infinitely. So yes, I have quite a lot.
Degenerate.
That's fine. It is what it is. This is why you run instant speed interaction, kids. Yeah, I actually really like this art a lot. He's just like so like the I don't know. I like the art on this a lot. I just feel so sorry for the person. The heavy bags of coins.
You feel bad for Gary?
A little bit, man. Look at him. He's like having to carry stuff. He's like Sisyphus.
Okay.
I'll say though that it might not come up in Commander, but I remember Gary was pretty good in Standard.
Isn't that why they changed the rarity on this one so that it will appear less often?
It was really good. So I'm pretty happy it's back. I mean, it was never too expensive anyway, but I mean, it's cool art. I'd love to have one.
Okay.
I guess I knew that he went from common to uncommon, so I didn't realize like there was an actual reasoning behind that. But that makes sense. Like if a card's too good at its current rarity, you kind of need to like move it up so it doesn't impact the game too much if it gets reprinted again.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think it's time to start talking about the actual cards of the set. So
it's only taken 18 minutes.
It's fine. So to all you listeners, just kind of the game plan here. We are going to go through all of the new possible commanders, and then we're going to talk about all the other cards. So we're going to do that now, and we're going to start with the new gods of this set. So in the original 3 Theros sets, there were 15 god cards that were all legendary enchantment creatures, 5 monocolored, and then 1 for each 2-color pairing. And all of them were indestructible and had the clause as long as your devotion to a certain color is less than 5, or if it's monocolored, or 7 if it's 2-colored, then so-and-so it's not a creature. Now that we are back on Theros, we received updates to the 5 monocolored gods, the same ones, and we have a few 2-color pairing gods. And to be clear, the monocolored gods have devotion less than 5, are not creatures, and have static ability and an activated ability all in one. So that out of the way, we're gonna blaze through the gods. We're gonna start off with a really big one here. We're gonna start off with Helion, Sun Crowned. It is 2 and a white, 5/5. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control, and 1 and a white. Another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Wow, this is pretty good. There's been a lot of talk about this card. It's very powerful as a commander. It can always be run in the 99. It's a combo piece with Walking Ballista and Triskelion. I'd say it's probably the second best mono white commander now after Tashar. Thoughts?
How can you downplay Heliod like that second best? Are you kidding me? I'll just say this. I honestly am not too familiar with how Teshar does loops and combos, but with Heliod, it's so easy to tutor, at least for Walking Ballista, so many cards. Recruiter of the Guard can tutor for it, Ranger Captain of Eos can tutor it, both of them. I think this
that's
card
kind of it. There's 5 tutors for it in a 99 card deck.
I mean, I'll give you that, but I mean, I think it's pretty
good,
consistent, yeah. And it can definitely go off even on turn 1 or 2. It's not interesting in the sense that, oh my gosh, this completely changes how mono white plays, but it's a really strong commander. And I think for a color like white that has such awfully weak commanders, that this is fine.
Yeah.
And I obviously it's a really good card, not even just for commander. This card's pretty scary in other formats too.
I'm glad they made it.
Now, my question though for you two is it really are we utilizing white to its best here, or is this more like a mono brown commander though?
I mean, it's going to be artifact heavy.
Right.
I mean, almost any monocolored deck in EDH, except for maybe green, is going to be artifact heavy, usually.
Okay.
Until they put a line of text on a white card that says draw a goddamn card, you're going to be using fucking colorless because you have to. There's literally no other way around it. This is probably a fucking brown deck with a white commander. You're right, it probably is, and you're only using white for tutors or preventing interaction with Grand Abolisher or something, so that you can get off your combo. Yeah, just to get off your combo easier. But yeah, you're right. This is a brown commander with white support.
I mean, let me ask you guys this: is any okay, we're kind of getting off topic, but I would say almost every mono white EDH commander is brownish because they have to.
I would agree. I would also say that blue is pretty brown as well in general.
That is a fair point. Point.
It's not like this is crazy. This is a really good card. I like this card, even though it's super basic.
I'm glad they made it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want mono white to be good, it's going to be very brown centric. But I wouldn't say like every mono white commander is going to be brown, but yeah.
Good luck drawing cards then, dude.
Yeah, but good luck drawing cards. Okay, we're going to move on to our next god, Thassa, Deep Dwelling. She is 3 and a blue, 6/5. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under your control. And then for 3 and a blue, tap another target creature. My personal opinion, I mean, I know that there's been a lot of draws to this card of like the Conjuring Closet. I would have loved to have seen maybe like an added treachery effect where the activated ability, the activated ability could have been more like a treachery kind of thing, so you can take people's cards and then, you know, flicker them with her ability, put them back onto your battlefield, so you can maybe get some ETB effects. But I think this card is actually going to be pretty good by herself. I mean, having this card in your command zone, yeah, it doesn't even have to be cards that it's not even yours to begin with. Like, you can flicker your own stuff, just get a lot of like ETB triggers or like whatever you want. So I think this card has pretty good potential.
Yeah, you're definitely like, I mean, if you're definitely playing this in the 99 in the same decks that are running Conjurer's Closet, because those decks running Conjurer's Closet are also in blue most likely. So it makes sense in the 99. I bet they just didn't give it that treachery ability because it would hurt other formats, I'm guessing. I don't know. But yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely see it more as like another piece for like Brago or like Yarick. I can't see making a deck around her.
You can't see her in the command zone?
Not really. I mean, she's really good at like flickering, but I mean, you have so many other crazier commanders. Like, why flick one thing when you could just do Brago and flick everything?
flick them all.
Yeah,
right, I guess.
That's a good point. I mean, if she isn't going to be like your command zone, or if she isn't going to be your commander, it could have been at least nice if she tried to synergize with the old Thassa, you know, where then it could just be like a flavor piece in there. But I don't think, because the old Thassa just like scried and drew you a card, if I remember correctly.
Like scried one on your upkeep, I think.
And its activated ability is to make a creature unblockable. Yeah. So it has a same like combat function, sort of, as this new one, but not as good.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. Who's next?
Our next card, okay, here we go. We got Erebos Bleak-Hearted, sorry. 3 and a black for a 5/6. Whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. And then 1 and a black, sacrifice another creature. Target creature gets -2, -1 until end of turn. Holy crap. Like, just, it's so easy. This is just going to be played so much. Like, it's just so easy to kill creatures, and then, like, you don't even have to put mana into this. You can just choose to, like, pay 2 life, which is super easy because you start with 40, and then you draw a card. Oh, you're going to kill so many things and draw so many cards. It's worth the life loss. Oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah, definitely kind of hones back into 2 other commanders we've seen recently, Yawgmoth and Villas.
Mm-hmm.
So black is definitely getting some good card draw engine here.
I'll say.
Yeah, based around like whether it's life loss or creatures dying. So good for them. Good for them.
I'm happy it works with Dictate of Erebos really well. That's such good flavor.
Yep.
But right. I mean, this is a pretty just generic, strong mono black card. It could be a commander. It could be in the 99. It's really good.
Yeah, you can probably build around it like as a commander, but I bet it'll go in a lot of 99.
Mm-hmm. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Ooh.
Oh, buddy. It's Perforos. Bronze-blooded.
Hopefully we don't get copyrighted for that.
I'll have Here Comes the Money playing in the background. Oh my god. Okay. Man. Purpros, bronze-blooded, 4 and a red, 7/6. Other creatures you control have haste. For 2 and a red, you may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. I have seen a lot of people complain how it's a worse sneak attack, but this is an indestructible enchantment creature. These are like
in the command zone.
In your command zone, they're a bitch to get rid of because, like, I don't know, Jesse, like how annoying is it to just have like any? How annoying is it when I play Purpros and like to get rid of it? Like, what do you have to do? Like, how many answers you got?
Well, you've definitely made me tech in, like, removal I wouldn't normally do, because I believe it's inefficient, just because you're just in my meta, so I have to tech around you. But, yeah, I want to run a lot less... I want to run more destroy removal, you know? Much cheaper. You're very annoying.
Why destroy something when you can exile it, though, Jesse? Come on.
But exiling enchantments, and so I don't understand like why people are so like, oh, it's worse, you know, just run sneak attack. Shut up, because Purpros also just in general will give your creatures haste, so you don't even need to like. So how sneak attack will put creatures onto the battlefield and give it haste. Purpros just needs to be on the battlefield, and all of your creatures are gaining haste, regardless of whether or not. Yeah, it's not
just the creature coming in, it's all of your creatures.
Yes, I definitely think this is a card I'm going to try and tech in for my Purpros deck. We'll see if it actually does anything like crazy stupid. But my hype for Purpros was like exceedingly just skyrocketing high. I think this meets my expectations. Like, if there was only like 1 or 2 cards I was going to be like stoked for, this was one of them. And good job, Watsy, you did a good job. I'm happy you got Eric Deschamps to do this art, which was the original guy. He signed my old one. I'm gonna get him to sign my new one, foil. Boom, baby. Good card.
You're so happy. It's like Christmas but better.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay, enough with like the fucking writing and Purpros. Jesus. I don't want to say this card is strictly better, because if it does get removed, you're really sad when you play all your creatures out, because they're just gonna get sacked and they don't even have haste anymore. So it's not a direct upgrade to sneak attack, because there is some risk. But I mean, it's hard to interact with either way. If you couldn't get rid of a sneak attack normally, like, probably going to be hard to get. It's probably going to be worse to try to get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is I don't even see people play sneak attack in the 99 of commander decks much. Like, not like across power levels, like not in EDH, not in casual metas, not in like mid-tier metas. I don't see it that often. That's just my personal experience, though.
I did just tech it into my Purpros deck, and I think when I was playing the other night, I got to play it, but it was only because it was the only card in my hand that I could play. And I was just like, shit, I need to shuffle my deck better. Yeah. I also need to draw less lands, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get good.
Yeah, get good. All right, let's move on.
Speaking of getting good, we'll talk now about Leah, Keen-Eyed. It is 3 and a green for a 5/6. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. 1 and a green, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. So what we really care about is that first ability, making your creature spells cast cost 1 less. This ability is on other cards, but this one might actually see play because this is, again, an indestructible god, so it's like a very resilient permanent once it's on the board, and it's tutorable as both a creature and enchantment, where those are both easily tutorable in the decks that this deck would want to be slotting into. Now, one thing to consider is this is a form of ramp as cost reduction, which doesn't exactly synergize with how like green usually ramps. Green usually get like mana dorks or extra lands. So I don't know if this is actually going to see that much play, but maybe in creature heavy decks. That's my thought.
I think I really have to see this card played because it's like, obviously, if you get infinite mana, you can go through your whole deck or whatever, but like...
if you have infinite mana, you can do a lot.
I know, but this is just... Well, that's like the only way I could see this really being played. I don't...
I gotta kill you.
I don't like
now.
it. I don't know. Yeah, please.
I gotta
please
kill you with this now.
Change my opinion, because I wanted to like this card when I first saw it, but the more I read it, I'm like... It's so strict for just creatures to go into your hand. It's like, but I mean, I'm sure someone can make it work. It's probably not that hard. But I mean, if you want to do dumb, stompy memes where you just go like a mono green deck, dude, like, you know, go off. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, of the 5 mono gods, I think this was the most underwhelming of them. I don't think it's terrible. Mm-mm. I don't think I would want to run it in my Galta deck, which I haven't.
Ask.
No, yeah, I haven't even touched that thing in a while. It's just kind of like gathering dust. I'm looking at it right now, and it's just gathering dust. But it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna move on. We got 2 more gods. We got Athreos, Shroud Veiled, and this is the buy a box promo. So if you buy a full box of Theros Beyond Death, you will get this card. In addition to a foil basic land, which we will touch upon a little bit later. But so Athreos is 4 white-black. He's a 4/7. At the beginning of your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So I think this is a really fun and unique card. It wouldn't really work too well if you try to steal someone's commander, unfortunately. But this card is very like flavorful, on point with like putting the coins on like
on the eyes.
Yeah, on the eyes. I was really hoping to hear Fabian's opinion on this card because he has like an OG Athreos Shadowborn Apostles deck. I think he said something like, "Oh, it's just okay," but I think at least this card could be fun casually.
Yeah, it's not high power level. It's very casual.
Let's just be blunt. This card's fucking awful.
This is Guy and I are trying to be mellow, let it down nicely, and like you're just over here like, nah, I don't want to see you again, never again.
It just doesn't have the support that it needs. Like the only card I could think of was that Strionic Resonator to get like a ton of like coins. But it's like, is that your only option? I was really hoping, like, by some miracle, they throw, like, some coin support in this set for this stupid buy a box promo. But it's too slow. The ability is even too slow. If it worked on each end step, I would, like, maybe think, okay, it's possible. But on your end step only, like, can't even really take extra turns in these colors either. Like, it's pretty hard. I don't know. I don't see it personally. But it's fun. It's a really cool card. I wanted it to be good. But, yeah, I think it's pretty, like, hard.
You know, another big thing maybe for this, too, is of the gods, it's definitely the highest costed one. Whereas the original Athreos was only 3 mana. This is now 6. So it's almost doubled.
Yeah.
So if it had been maybe less costed, maybe you would see more play.
I honestly think this card could be 4 mana, and I still don't think it's that great.
Oh, here's what you do. Here's what you do. You use Athreos to steal your opponent's creature, and then you use the Thassa to flicker it and keep it under your control forever.
You're thinking too, Galaxy Brain. That's
next level. You just had to play a Esper deck for that. It's fine. All right, so we should move on to the last god in this set, in this cycle, I should say. We have, I don't know how you said it, Guy, but I'm gonna call it Clothis, God of Destiny. 1 red-green for a 4/5. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target creature card from a graveyard. If it was a land, add red or green to your mana pool. Otherwise, you gain 2 life, and Klothys deals 2 damage to each opponent. I feel like, Guy, you have more to say about this than I do.
Yeah, my initial... This was the card that they previewed on Christmas Eve, you know, like red-green. But it seems alright. It's, I think, a better card in Standard, since it's going to be, like, an answer to Escape. So, the original Gruul god was Xenagos, God of Revels. Klothys doesn't give you, like, a clear direction of what to play. It's more of a value piece. Whereas Xenagos had a very clear, like, you want to play big creatures, you want to pack a punch. Klothys can ramp and deal damage, but if your opponents have no graveyards, then she has to hit you. Like, this isn't an option thing. So if you're the only one with cards in your graveyard, her ability will trigger and you'll have to exile something from your graveyard. But depending on how you want to use her, you could run cards like Obliterate. You know, Jesse, that's your favorite card, right? Or one of your favorite cards.
I would never be caught playing Mass Land Destruction.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Are you kidding me? I hate getting people upset.
Shut the fuck up.
I like how you're both, like, you play Avacyn, you blow up people's lands, and Jesse plays Ruination and Obliterate. It's great. It's so cute.
Whatever. But yeah, if you play Obliterate or Ruination, you can get that consistent 1 red mana or 1 green mana. Or you could run, you know, some of the cards that are just like trying to like add on to the burn damage of red. But then it's just like a weaker, you know, P. Diddy Perforos kind of deck, so
yeah.
She's fine, I think. I think she's good in maybe some red-green decks for your value, but...
Value.
Yeah, I don't think she's commander-worthy.
So can I piggyback on your ideas here, Guy?
Yeah, sure.
So I agree that it's going to be like mass land destruction and then using like these damage doublers to try and punish your opponent with things. But first off, that is going to be a problem because most EDH players do not like their lands being blown up and will get very, very salty and never want to play with you.
Oh, okay. So should we just ban Klothos?
No. Just talk to people before you play and be like, hey, you might see some land destruction. You okay with that? And if they say yeah, they dug their own grave. But I was more going to say, like, I don't necessarily know that people are going to play this because most players don't want to play against mass land destruction. And then also, this is just a worse version of Rurik Thar, where you build it mass land destruction and mana dorks, and then you have Rurik Thar out, and they take like 7 damage or something every time they do almost anything because they're probably not as creature heavy as you are. So in my opinion, it's like good luck finding anyone who will play against you. And if you do play this exact same strategy is just better in Rurik Thar. Like only, yeah. So I don't actually think this card will see much play.
I really wish this card was red and white, because I think it would be so sick in red and white. You just stacks people, like exile all their graveyards, and then you get ramp, damage, and health. Like that would be such a cool Boros commander. You could, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
fuck green. That whole color, it gets everything.
Yeah, I totally can see that as well, but I feel like they only really did red and green because Xenagos is gone.
Yeah, I know why they did it, and I think flavor-wise it's pretty cool. But damn, it's gonna be pretty hard to play this when red green already has so many other like better cards than this.
This is what it is.
All right, so next we have 2 new Titans, two Titans. This is a new kind of creature cycle that I think we will slowly see. If we ever return to Theros, I think we'll get a lot more of these guys. I think these first 2 that we got were kind of like let's dip our toes in, see. But yeah, so we got first Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. 1 green blue. Legendary creature, Elder Giant, 6/6. So 3 mana for a 6/6. Not bad. When Uro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Okay. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. And then his escape cost is green, green, blue, blue. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. And I'm just going to read the second card now because I want to kind of give my thoughts on the Titans at the same time. But then we got Kroxa, Titan Depth's Hunger. Black red, legendary creature, Elder Giant, 6/6. So 2 for a 6/6. That's even better. When Kroxa enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Kroxa enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. Escape, black, black, red, red. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Giving my thoughts overall, these guys are pretty neat. Sad we aren't seeing like a full cycle of them just yet. I was really hoping that we would get at least 5 of them. Maybe when the blue-green one was announced, I was like, oh, we're going to get enemy colors. And then we got the Rakdos one, and I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be like a mix of like enemy and ally colors.
Yeah.
But I guess they're just going to hold off from that.
Yeah, I was expecting more too. Like, I don't know if it's just because I watched Hercules after you watched Hercules, but there were like multiple Titans in that movie, So,
yeah, my prediction is Theros Titan's Wrath is going to be the set name when we return to
7
Theros.
years later, 7 years from now.
I bet 5 years. 5 years. So they act like sorceries the first time you cast them because when you cast them, they will trigger their ETB, but then you gotta sack them. But since you can recast them from the graveyard for their escape costs, you can get around their commander tax, which is very similar to what we saw with like Hogak. Which he's okay. Both Kroxa and Uro both have access to Dredge, which is a very powerful mechanic. Becomes very easy for filling up your graveyards. So like Golgari Titan, Golgari Graveyard Troll, and Stinkweed Imp both have like major Dredge abilities, like 5 and 6. So you can just start filling up your graveyard so that it'll become really easy to recast them. Torpor Orb would be a nice card if it's in your opening hand. There's also the Hushbringer, which is Torpor Orb on a stick. At least that's good for standard.
There's a couple of those.
Yeah,
but they're in white.
It would be a nice card to have, since then you wouldn't have to sack it, and you can get like a big 6/6 creature for 3 or less. But yeah, these seem really interesting, really neat. I would love to see.
What do you think of their design? What do you think of their design, Guy? I think they're pretty like well designed. Designed
in the way of like
in terms of like the lore, because it's like they like came into existence, they immediately got like sent to like the underworld, and now they can escape from the underworld, and then they're entering the battlefield again, like the normal world, and they're attacking and eating everything. Because for me, I'm kind of like inserting myself here, but I feel like they're like pretty on point with like the lore and their mechanics.
Yes, I would agree there that they are very much like. Well, the problem is like with this Theros set, we're not getting too much of the story. We got like some bits, but the Titans were mentioned in passing, so I don't really know what they're doing in terms of like this set right now. But they are definitely interesting commanders because they can get you can pretty much consistently cast them on like turn 2 or 3, and then be able to recast them from your graveyards quite a bit. But I don't know, like I guess Uro is in my opinion, the better one, because you're at least drawing a card, gaining life, and ramping. Like, you're getting a lot of value for 3 mana, and then, like, you know, for 4 mana, you can do it again almost the next turn. So,
would you say Euro's the better one? Because I see Euro as, like, going +1, because I assume, like, it's just your commander, so you're not sacrificing a card. But with Kroxa, you're making people go, like, -3 every time you cast him. So you're hitting 3 cards, and you're always, like, never getting affected by it. I could see Kroxa actually being the better one for our format.
you think so?
I think so.
In terms of card advantage, you're talking about, Jesse?
Yeah. And,
well,
like,
Jesse,
to be honest,
you
like,
build the Kroxa deck, I'll build the Euro deck, you and I can go at it.
I'm just gonna say, like, the Commando did already, like, a deck tech on this guy, and I was, like, pretty convinced. I was like, this could actually be, like, a real commander. Like, it's pretty damn strong. It looks really innocuous, like, oh, each opponent discards just 1 card, right? But it's actually, like, there are ways to keep, like, getting this effect off over and over. Like, Panharmonicon, you're, like, you're really, like, destroying people with this card.
Jesse, I feel like you're really down with the whole, like, Panharmonicon and Strionic Resonator, like, copying abilities and stuff, just, like, doubling the value on stuff.
I swear to God, if people just look at those cards, they don't ever remove them. Like, they're brainless. It might just be because I'm playing with Guy most of the time. They're brainless. But, like, it's just... I could see Kroxa being nuts. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
I love it.
So I'm going to add my 2 cents here. I think these 2 gods are going to be very popular amongst EDH players because they do something that's, like, really new that we've never seen a commander do before with the escape mechanic and a bunch of their other mechanics. And then they are pretty exciting both from a casual standpoint. You know, you run your Torpor Orb and your, like, Panharmonicon, as you were saying, Jesse. And then they're also appealing to the more CEDH players, because with Kroxa, you can do World Gorger Dragon loops and win, and with Euro, you can do Food Chain loops and win. So it's appealing to both the casual and competitive players. And yeah, I think they, especially because I know, like, the Command Zone is going to be doing, like, something with Euro. I think a game nights, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Kroxa.
Oh, yeah. That one. So it's probably going to be very popular because of that, too.
Okay, well, look at Blake giving the real analysis, and I was just like, hey, yeah, they're pretty cool, I guess. So, there's my 2 cents. There's Blake's 2 cents, and there's Jesse's 2 cents. You got 6 cents out of this episode.
Yeah, that's...
Like the movie where Bruce Willis is actually dead.
Oh.
I see ghosts. He was dead the whole time. Spoiler alert.
Hey.
Let's move on to our next cycle, because we are getting pretty... This is going to be a long episode. Strap in. Let's go to the Demigods.
Mm-hmm. All right, so similar to the gods, we got an uncommon cycle of legendary enchantment creatures that also care about your devotion to a color. The devotion becomes relevant to the power or toughness, depending on, like, which card it is. So we're gonna, again, start with white. Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. It is white, 2 and a star. Daxos' toughness is equal to your devotion to white. And then whenever another creature under your control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. So this is like another Soul Sister effect. It's another Soul's Attendant, Soul Warden, Citra Priest, and Essence Warden.
This is no commander. I'll just start off with that. It's no commander, but it's a really good consistency piece if you want to try to do, like, some life gain, like, white deck, or even, like, white-black, whatever kind of life gain deck.
This isn't the number 1 mono white commander?
No, but I mean, it's not bad for what it's
number
doing.
3.
It's really, like, not a bad card. Like, it does a lot, actually. You're gonna gain a lot of life off of this. It's only unfortunate that it's not everyone's creatures. Like, I think Soul Warden or Soul Attendant does that, or you get 1 life for every creature on the battlefield. But I mean, it's on ETB and Death. Like, it's a lot of triggers.
Yeah, because it says dies, I'm guessing that this is more valuable in like a deck that runs at least white and black, because you're really going to get value off of those die triggers. I'm just guessing.
I mean, if you want to be really spicy, you could do like an altar and have like, there's some artifact where it's like you gain life, you could pay like equal to that mana and draw that card. So you might actually be able to draw cards in white, who knows?
But you have to pair it with black.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have the brown altar, dude. Your mono white card draw. There you go. Jump through 3 hoops with like your 5.
That's just gonna be okay. We're just letting the listeners know that's gonna be the joke of this entire set. Get used to it.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean,
just wait till we go to green, dude.
I felt this was just very generic white. I'm not convinced otherwise. I didn't really know anything about Soul Sisters, but yeah, it seems fine, but it seems better in a Orzhov deck or whatever. Aristocrats, get out of my face, Daxos. You betrayed your girlfriend. Alright. Calipathy, Beloved of the Sea. 1 blue, star 3. Calipathy, Beloved of the Sea's power is equal to your devotion to blue. Creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent cost 1 more to cast. So it reminds me of an even weaker version of Sir Eleonora the Discerning, which we got from Throne of Eldraine. Since she doesn't even draw you a card, or it might be a he. I don't know. I know that this is supposed to be like the character from the Odyssey. So I think when we talked about,
I thought it was Narcissus.
No, that's the other one that has the reflection. We'll get to him later.
I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yeah, this card, just like Sir Eleonora, like. I don't have much to say. Let's just I'm like whatever about this.
Yeah, let's move ahead, but I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents. For anyone who doesn't play EDH a bunch, this ability to tax opponents who target your stuff is really bad in EDH, except if you play like Kira, the like Great Glass Spinner, since it like hard counters the first spell targeting something, but even then it's rarely played. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to Timuret, Chosen from Death. It's black, 2 and a star. Timuret's toughness equal to your devotion to black. 1 and a black, exile up to 2 target cards from your graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. This is trash. This is terrible. Like, this just does absolutely nothing. The life gain isn't worth anything. The exiling 2 cards from your graveyard isn't worth anything. It's just terrible. Like, the original Timuret was just better because like the art had him literally holding a severed head, and this one just like does nothing. So
excuse me, he's a demigod here. Okay, clearly superior now.
Yeah, the one thing I would like to throw in about the demigods that I learned, and I didn't add them to the notes, but all the demigods were previously dead and then revived by the gods. So the gods are waging war on Theros currently, and they each chose kind of a champion to become promoted to demigod. So Timuret, who was already dead, he's now been promoted to demigod. We got Calipathy, who was dead. Thassa revived them. Whatever. Daxos dead, we know, because Elspeth killed her. And now we got Annex, Hardened in the Forge, 1 red, star 3. Annex's power is equal to your devotion to red. Whenever Annex or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block. If the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. For me, personally, Annex is probably the best one of this cycle. It creates good value. I feel like, you're going to have a lot of good red cards that will be able to trigger Annex. I don't know. It also really goes well with the original Purphoros. So, not bad. I like this card. I will definitely be teching this into Purphoros. But otherwise, I don't see too much around his own deck. let alone any other deck. So I guess he's very narrow in where I would use him.
Yeah, I'm not really that impressed by this. It just kind of like maintains your board presence, but not even that well. I'm just not that impressed by this card.
Yeah, same. The fact that it's a non-token creature that has to trigger this, it's like, I don't know.
Well, they didn't want you to like destroy the tokens,
go
get more
infinite.
tokens, destroy the tokens, get more tokens, go infinite.
Yeah, but that just makes it bad then. So, like,
if it's not like able to form an infinite combo of cards, it's just bad, right, Jesse?
well, I mean, that one's just objectively bad. Come on, let's just go to the next one. This is embarrassing to even talk about.
All right.
Cards.
Yeah.
I still think this is the best one of the demigods, but...
Okay, well, you're wrong, so let's go.
Alright, well, then...
We're gonna...
read the next one?
So, yeah, like, our last one is Renata, Call to the Hunt. It is 2 green, and it's star 3. Her power is equal to your devotion to green, and each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So in my opinion, this is the better one, simply because it enables persist mechanic loops. Like it can actually go infinite there, Jesse.
I still think this card's bad.
Oh, I agree with you. Okay, we probably should have said this at the very beginning, but all the demigods are trash. So we should move on now to like
Yeah, we're gonna move into the just legendary creatures this set. We're gonna go by color, and then we'll go into multicolor. We only got one new white one of just legendary creatures. Terranica, a Crolian veteran, 1 white legendary creature, human soldier, 3/3 vigilance. Whenever Terranica attacks, untap another target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base, power, and toughness 4/4 and gains indestructible. I feel like this is just playing really well to white's strengths. I don't think this is... I mean, 3 CMC commander, it kind of almost makes your opponents want to think like, oh, do I want to block the 3/3, the commander, or am I trying to block the 4/4, though it's indestructible? So it kind of plays a little mind games. I'm not trying to say, though, that this card is necessarily great, because it's not
the best. It's the best mono white commander to date, right?
Let's not give the runaround about this garbage card. The best thing about this card is that it says untap.
Yeah.
That's the best line of text. If you could somehow make that untap thing like valuable, like, you know what, you're a better player than me, but this card I think is trash.
Yeah,
and for our format, it's trash.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Alright. Well, we're now already done with the new white commanders. Let's move on to blue. Maybe we'll get some better ones here.
Not likely. We're gonna go to... I should have practiced this name. Illyrios Enraptured is 2 and a blue legendary creature, human, 2/3, and it enters the battlefield tapped. It doesn't untap during your untap step if you control a reflection, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 2/3 blue reflection creature token.
3/2.
Yes, 3/2. Thank you for correcting me. This is absolutely terrible. This is absolutely nothing. It's like a mediocre like body. It enters tapped. It doesn't untap unless you have the token, and the token it gives you is a 2/3, which is absolutely useless. This is crap. And I do want to say, like, Mark Rosewater, who is the head designer at Wizards of the Coast, has said that not all legendary creatures are made for EDH, but I'm not going to use that excuse for every single shitty legendary creature. I just did want to throw that out there because I hear that this is a powerhouse in limited, or I shouldn't say powerhouse. I hear this is decent in limited and other formats. So, like, this was clearly made for limited, not for EDH players, and so I just want to say not every legendary creature is made for EDH, and that's my one. I'm gonna start doing that, I think, in almost every EDH review, because I don't think a lot of people know that. So people will just shit on a card, and it's like, well, it's obviously meant for like another format, so you're kind of missing the point here. So that's my 2 cents.
Not all legendary creatures are created equal in the eyes of Helion.
Are you kidding me? This is like, you get this in pre-release, you open your Thassa, dude, you're making 3/2s non-stop. Yeah,
sorry, Jesse, we underestimated the value here.
No, this card's trash. I'm gonna make this card. Like, don't play.
Don't play this card.
Don't play games with people.
Yeah, this is the card that Blake was talking about. This is Narcissist.
Yeah, this is Narcissus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thrax, the Sudden Storm. 3 blue legendary creature, elemental giant, 4/5 flash, flying. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater costs 1 less to cast and can't be countered. Can't be countered. That's great. Reduces mana cost. That's great.
Yep. But
I don't know. I don't think this is like groundbreaking in terms of blue. It's flash cool. Yeah, it's fine. It's like, yeah, it's very mediocre. I think it wouldn't be a commander. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah. Just play your fucking Animar deck. Don't play this. Animar is this on like crack.
No, you know what's better, and you're staying in mono blue? Brawl. Now that's a good card.
Okay, nobody wants to be like a loser.
No, Park has a Brawl deck. It's pretty good.
Hey, tell Park to see me, dude.
All right, I think you two would enjoy each other's company.
Maybe.
Yeah, you play Mass Land Destruction. He plays Hard Control and loops Grey Merchant. It's fun. All right, so we're gonna move on to black now. We're blazing through this. We have Ephemia, the Cacophony. It is 1 and a black legendary creature, enchantment, Harpy, 2/1 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. This is trash too. This is utter garbage. Like, you don't want to exile your own enchantments just to get a 2/2. That's fucking terrible. Like, get out of here. I'm done.
If there was a legendary creature we could purposely skip, it would have been this one.
Yeah, so we're just gonna move on. Talk about the next card guy.
All right, so now we're moving on to green. So, white and black both had like
terrible,
powerhouses of commanders. All right, so we have Arasta of Endless Web, 2 green legendary enchantment creature, spider, 3/5 with reach, very on flavor for spiders. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 spider token with reach. So it could go into your Thontis the Warweaver Spider Tribal deck.
Which everyone plays.
I have a copy. Blake has a copy. Jesse has a copy. Everyone has a copy.
Look under your seat. You have a copy.
Boom, boom, boom. So it's decent enough because by the time the turn gets back to you, you're probably going to have a few spiders because like instants and sorceries always going to be cast. You'll have these chump blockers. I don't know, maybe throw in some token doublers. Oh, it looks like, as I'm reading my own notes, I didn't even finish it. I guess I just got bored of this commander.
Show it.
Whoa. It's actually not too bad in Ishkana.
What even is Ishkana?
So it's like a spider tribal thing. It's like 4 colorless, 1 green, and it basically has this activated ability. The target opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control.
Is that the like black and green one?
Yeah, it's full green, but it has black activated ability. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in this is the fringe card. It's really good in that one fucking instance. But I mean, even then, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Generally speaking, relying on your opponents to cast very specific things is not good unless you're like, you have cards like Rhystic Study, which like draws you cards if your opponents don't pay 1, or like Smothering Ties, so like it punishes your opponents for drawing cards. Like just like limiting it to specifically instants and sorceries, like this is just very, very limiting. And what do you even do once you have a bunch of spider tokens? Like there's a few things you can do, but it's just very casual, very weak, and it's like, I don't like this.
I'm about to make this Ishkana deck, and I'm gonna destroy like your best deck.
All right, hey, you know what? If you like, you know what? You can run the Thassa, not the Thassa, the Nylea card I was talking about, and you can cast this.
Oh my god!
You can cast this for 3 mana instead of 4.
You're right.
Value.
You're done, dude.
All right.
We're moving out of
monocolor now into multicolor.
Right. Here come the multicolor commanders that we haven't already talked about. We're gonna start with Delicos, Crafter of Wonders. It is 1 blue-red, so it's an Izzet commander, and it's a legendary creature, Merfolk Artificer with a 2/4. With tap, add 2 colors, mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. Equipped creatures you control have flying and haste. So, as we all know, is a color pairing that really cares about artifacts, and guess what? We're getting artifact synergies. I don't really know what you do with this though. Like, I don't know, you play a bunch of like artifact creatures and equipment, and you just like swing in for damage. That's all I can figure out though.
I feel like it kind of speaks for itself. I would, side note, just like to say, I started eating some chocolate raisins on the side to try and like help fill up like my body so the alcohol doesn't like get to me. But then I looked over at my glass and I'm like, oh, it's still almost full. Like,
what?
I've been like half full.
So it's like you thought it was empty, but like it's not actually empty.
It's not actually empty. So I was like eating the raisins to like prepare because I thought like, oh, I'm like reaching like, you know, peak alcohol levels. So I need to like fill up with some food.
God damn it.
But
God.
yeah.
Wow.
Things are about to get crazy.
Just whatever. Dude. I wish this was a white card.
Oh my god.
But I mean, come
Get
on.
out of here. You've overstayed your welcome. You've been here for 7 days.
I'm just so sad. This could have been a white card, but whatever. Let's give Izzet the fucking like.
I don't think this is very white ability, Jesse.
Oh my god, super specific ramp, like super specific draw that you get.
Where's
Like,
the draw on this?
Yeah, you don't get draw off this card.
I mean, I'm just equating it. I don't think white even has something that's super specific for like adding colorless. Like you can only use it to cast like artifacts. I don't think it has it, but it does have draw like that. I could see it. The only thing that I don't see is the haste. That's like the only part that's definitely red.
White definitely does not give flying.
White has a ton of flyers.
Yeah, but it does not give flying.
Give me a break, dude. It could have been like some fucking mechanic bird, and it's like, oh, dude, he's white, and he makes people like wings or whatever. I could see it.
Oh my god. I'm gonna fly into the sun and like just explode.
Ooh, that would have been kind of nice, because then it would like kind of go into that one Greek myth.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either, but I was referencing it. I'm glad you got it too.
Yeah, I forget. Oh my god.
We're uncultured. All right. We're gonna move on to. Okay, it's Guy's turn. Go ahead, Guy.
Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. 2 blue-black legendary creature, human advisor. 3/2 with menace. When Atris enters the battlefield, target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile into your hand and the other pile into your graveyard. I wrote a lot of notes for this card. Not quite sure why. It definitely seems like a fun card, at least. Don't know how competitive you can make it, but fun. So, what would be worse? What would be worse? To know 1 card or know 2? Your opponents had the opportunity to play mind games on you, or if you use cards like Brainstorm, Preordained, Sensei's Divining Top, then you can pretty much know the cards that your opponents will be separating. I looked up some like good flicker effects for blue, so you could like flicker this and get his ETB, like Ghostly Flicker, Essence Flux, Deadeye. It seems fun, but I don't think this is like I guess I don't even know like how you would just want to win. Like, I don't know. This isn't like a card for like I guess a commander. It's not something I would make a commander deck around. That's all I have to say.
What do you think, Jesse?
I don't fucking know. This card's weird. I see this card and I'm like, I wanted to put it into like Aminatu, but you don't even get the cards like back on top of your deck or whatever. Like they only go to your hand or graveyard. I would just rather play Aminatu if I was gonna do like the Sensei Divining Top, Brainstorm, Preordained thing, because then it's like, I don't know, it's a little bit more fun I think than this. I mean, sure you get to interact with your opponents more, but like, who gives a shit about my opponents? I'm there to win, dude. I'm not ready. I'm not trying to have fun.
Interaction.
You making friends.
My opponents don't need to interact with me at all. I just need to play my own cards.
Yeah. Stacks them and blow up their lands. I don't want them playing the game. Crazy.
Yeah. Like I honestly don't think this will be like built that much. It's just like generic value in blue and black, which I know blue and black is like a color combination which is really hard to design for, and I'm just sad when I see this card because it's like it's just gonna like fade into like obscurity. I don't think anyone's gonna play this. Yeah, I guess that is a good point. I do know that Mark Rosewater has often said that between the two color pairings, blue and black do have like the least amount of like cohesion or like familiarity. Similarities. Yeah, but it can be done. Like, just look at Yuriko. Like, that's an amazing card.
Yeah, amazing.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next card. We have Leah of the Endless Dance. It is red and a green legendary creature satyr, 2/2 with haste. Other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and gain haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. Guy?
The Satyr Tribal Commander
is here.
EDH players have been asking for since
years.
Day 1.
No,
there are 17 satyrs in red and green at least. So you could put them all into this deck.
Just play Morophon.
Like, whatever, shut up. There's, I said there's potential. I guess what I meant was, like, there's an idea, I guess. I think this will be popular because, like, I've seen a lot of people be like, stomp on me, Galia. And I also think you could probably buy a lot of these satyrs foil.
I don't know what, like, weird part of the internet you're going.
Okay, like, this is not that new.
Galia, stomp on me. I don't think I've seen one post about that.
I've seen a lot of posts about that.
That's very sad.
Guy, I was the one who informed you about that meme.
You informed me what stomp on me means, but I have seen my own shit about this. I don't know. Whatever. Throw in Xenagos, God of Revels, swing in it for a meme. I don't know. I think this card is, like, it's fun.
In a vacuum, this is, like, a really good card, just by itself. But,
well, we have to consider all 20,000 other cards.
I mean, in a vacuum, the card's good, but it has no support, so it's not going to be good till it gets support.
You're right. In a vacuum of 1 in 1 cards, yes, this card is pretty good. Alright. Kunoros, Hound of Athreos, 1 white-black legendary creature, 3/3, Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. That's cute. It has 3 things for 3 heads. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. So it hates against escape and flashback. Pretty good.
And Marin, thank God.
So do you think this is a card that's more like specific deck tech rather than, build a whole deck around?
It's definitely like a teching card, but I've honestly looked at a lot of like Orzhov staples and there really aren't that many options. And I actually think like you could just run this card and like someone's gonna have to interact with some graveyard. And I think it's actually not bad.
Not bad, Jesse says. It definitely has a good value for, only being 3 mana.
Yeah, I don't see this being a commander. I do see this being played in the 99 as part of like a as a hate bear card with many other hate bear cards in the deck. And I know casuals really just love their graveyard hate. I'm not a big fan of graveyard hate outside of like very, very specific situations. I know it's like the worst half of Grafdigger's Cage, so like it's almost good enough for like CEDH players, but not quite. So if anyone's gonna play this, it's gonna be like really casual people who want graveyard hate in at least black and white, and then like competitive players, the meta like really shifts all of a sudden.
I don't know if it's just because I'm really drunk or if I didn't actually do this, but I know that CEDH TV did a review of this card, and I think I said to myself, like, I need to watch this so I can understand, like, what his perspective is of this card. But I either must be, like, really drunk at the moment, or I did not watch it.
Just really dumb.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Blake.
I thought you were gonna say like I didn't understand it. Okay.
Anyway, Rest in Peace, I think is just better though.
Sure. Won't disagree, I guess. Next card, Blake.
Oh, yeah, you did read that one, I guess. Okay, cool. Pelucranos, Unchained. It is 2 black-green legendary creatures, Zombie Hydra. It enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters on it, and it escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters instead. If damage would be dealt to it while it has +1/+1 counters on it, prevent that damage and remove that many counters from it instead. It also has an activated ability of 1 black-green, and it fights another target creature, and it can escape for 4 black-green, exile 6 other cards from your graveyard. So, this is a big old Hydra boy that can keep coming back from your graveyard and be very, very large. And it can fight other creatures if you have the mana for it. And I think it's a very good card in Limited. I think it's a very mediocre card in Commander. I
would say mediocre. I think it's god awful. I would never pay 6 mana, exile 6 of my other cards.
But you're in Golgari. You can easily fill up your graveyard. Easily. You are in the colors
Dredge.
Dredge.
Just play Marin. I'm sure you'll have a much better time.
Yeah, but like, why play Marin when you can have a big, giant Hydra boy with like tons of counters on it? And just trample over and kill your opponents with a bunch of damage.
Pretty sure the average Magic character or player cares more about like boobs than they do like Hydras.
Oh, wow.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna play Marin.
Guy, we should do a poll on Twitter.
You know what? Let's do a poll right now. Who cares more about boobs?
I mean, I do.
There you go. There's your Marin player.
I wrote a lot for this card, and I think that was because I was like really excited when I saw it. It's the first Zombie Hydra, though that doesn't really matter at all. It is very similar to Hogak and the other Elder Giants we got, where it doesn't matter if like this card got put into graveyard or command zone. Well, you want it to go to the graveyard. I mean, I guess here, Jesse, Blake, would you rather pay 2 extra mana for this card to re-enter with 6 counters, or would you exile 6 other cards and have like 12 counters? Which would you rather do?
Knowing what a disgusting card Marin is, I would rather just play Marin and just get cards for free. Why pay mana, dude? Why even pay mana?
I guess Jesse really just doesn't like this card. Blake, do you have any opinions, or would you just rather play Marin? Okay, I'm just gonna take your like shrugs as like a. It doesn't matter. All right.
Hey, I'm indifferent.
All right, let's just move on. I guess it doesn't matter. Haktos, the Unscarred, red, white, legendary creature, human warrior, 6/1. Haktos, the Unscarred, attacks each combat if able. As Haktos enters the battlefield, choose 2, 3, or 4 at random. Haktos has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number. It's really cute as a Achilles card. It's a Boros commander, so I think it's very on flavor. Like, if Achilles were a creature, yeah, I think he would have to be red-white. I think this is going to be I will stand by this statement. I think this is going to be the card people build the most. And I think of the legendaries we've seen, I would also say that he probably has the most interesting design of everyone. Thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know how the hell to build this. I guess damage doubling, but I really want to be able to flicker this thing, but having it have its own protection is like very annoying. It's cool. It's a really cool card. I'm not sure I'm sold on if it's even good. I think even the casting cost is like super restrictive. You could struggle with so many like sack effects, like edicts. Board wipes still hit it. I'm not convinced, but it's really cool. I would say it has probably the most interesting design. It's really pretty cool for Boros, I think, but I don't think it's strong necessarily.
I'm not trying to say that it's strong, but I think it's going to be the one that people like cling to the most. Yeah, I feel like it's just going to be one that, of this set, it'll be the most built commander. I would put money on that.
It's okay,
Alright.
guy. I'm
How
not.
much money do you
accusing
want to give me?
$5.
$5? Okay, I'll make that bet right here and now.
All right.
I think the Titans are going to be like built more than this.
All right, 3 months. We'll revisit this.
All right, 3 months, $5.
All right.
All right,
Let's move on.
Yep, we have. Oh, I'm. All right, so this next card is Siona, Captain of the Mylius. It is 1 green-white for legendary creature human soldier 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Whenever an aura you control enters, whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. I'm not too impressed by this card, because this is going to go in Enchantress decks in EDH, and Enchantress already has the Enchantress. Sort of like not cycle but like core as the draw engine, and this is like all right. It like only gets auras though, and auras instead of just any enchantment is like a lot more restrictive, and if you go aura heavy, your deck is going to be a little bit weird.
I actually kind of like it. I know it's like it's not that great, but it gives you like more interesting lines to win.
How
like
so?
you could run like Crater Hoof with this if you really wanted to, and that's like an extra win con for you. I don't know. You have to like really. It lets you do some cute shit that you wouldn't normally be able to.
I'm really
do
confused. I'm really confused by that. Why am I running Crater? Like, as this is the commander and I run Crater.
Well,
Hoof?
if you're running like the regular Enchantress engine, like
Right.
you should know as an enchantment deck, like. You can get your engine going. Like you could draw a bunch of cards, but you can like struggle to kind of like close out games. And especially if like they just target your commander as you're playing like a Voltron Aura deck, it can be pretty hard to win. It's like a fallback win condition that like normally isn't available to you. And you also are able to like kind of counter edict effects with this ability too. I'm not saying it's like gonna be incredible, but it lets you do more interesting deck building. And I think that makes it good enough for me to be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I like it, genuinely. I think it's a pretty interesting card. It also digs really deep. If you don't find an aura, you're really sad. You might have to fix up your deck if you don't get an aura in like the first 7 cards.
I feel like it makes sense because you're building Karametra, right?
I would never play this card in Karametra. But
okay,
I mean,
never mind then.
I wouldn't play auras in Karametra.
All right.
I like the art. That's all I had to say about this card.
All right, and it does go infinite with Shield of Faith. I do have to put that out there. Otherwise, we look really stupid if we don't mention that.
Imagine if you had Crater Hoof with your infinite 1/1s too. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I go infinite and don't win.
All right, we got our last legendary creature we're talking about.
Finally.
I feel like this is one that's going to be underwhelming, but Etropia, the twice favored, 1 green-blue legendary creature, human wizard, 2/2, has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. All I have to ask is, like, Blake, do you think this is worthy of a slot in a Tuvasa deck?
If it's extremely casual, yes. I'm not going to.
Alright. Well, that's your answer, folks. Don't run this really in a Tuvasa deck.
Yep. Alright, that was a lot of commanders. Were you expecting
27.
I was not expecting there to be so many goddamn commanders. I'm like, oh, it'll come later in the year. But there were 27. Oh my god, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, I remember... I mean, we're already at the hour-and-a-half mark, so yeah. It's okay. Longest episode ever for the Wizard stuff. I do remember, like, I'll make this point later, but, like, Ravnica Allegiance, I think, had less than 10. Yeah. That was the first set of last year, and we're starting off this year with 27, so is this really just going to be the year of Commander?
Yeah.
Are we, like, going to triple the number of legendary creatures we get? So
maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
We're already up to 27. Alright. We got one new Planeswalker.
Yeah, no, we got, okay, to be clear, we have other Planeswalkers, just that they're all absolutely terrible except for this one, which is mediocre. We have Calyx, Destiny's Hand, which is 2 green-white legendary Planeswalker Calyx, and starts off with Loyalty 4. +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And then -3, exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. And then -7, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it is draw, it is removal, it is recursion in in an enchantment centric deck, but I'm like still not that impressed with it because it's on a Planeswalker. Like after Oko, I don't think WotC's gonna print like a really strong Planeswalker for a very long time. Now, all of those abilities are really good, and especially that last one it's the ultimate is basically Replenish, which is a reserve list card, meaning it will never be reprinted again. And from my personal experience, it is like backbreaking. Like, it's just such a good effect. However, the downside is you have to wait like 4 or 5 turns to get it, and usually you want to like activate like the effect of Replenish like the turn you like get it, because like you're behind, you're losing, you now need to like make a huge move in order to win. And
I think when you're evaluating Planeswalkers, you almost have to ignore the ultimate. It's like no way in Commander are you gonna like get that ultimate off by just like plussing your walker.
Well, so what if you're in Super Friends, Jesse?
Well, then it's different because you already have doubling season, so everything has an ultimate.
This can get back doubling season.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You have to look at like the minus and the plus. I don't see how an enchantment deck's really gonna like save this card. So I don't know. I want to like it, but I don't see it. You probably wouldn't add it, at least in Commander.
I mean, I don't have too much like opinion on this card. Like, I'm even surprised that you wanted to talk about it, Blake.
Yeah,
I mean, it just seemed very mediocre. The only thing that I'm like somewhat disappointed is I wish the +1 interacted with the ultimate a little more, where you may reveal an enchantment card from among the top 4 cards, and then like let's say you like reveal 3 or 4 enchantments, then you could like put the other enchantments into the graveyard to like hopefully replenish later. But yeah.
I will say this: if you are on a budget and you cannot afford Replenish because it's like $50 fucking, then this is, and you're also playing in a very casual meta, this is a great card.
You could actually get it pretty cheap, moderately played for like 28 right now. It's actually pretty low, just saying. You don't need to shill 50 right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I expect Replenish. I don't know. I feel like Replenish is about to like skyrocket or whatever.
Oh, I think so too. That's why I bought it. That's why I built the whole enchantment deck. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah, this is the time.
Well, quick side story. I like built my enchantment focused EDH deck like literally like a few, like I think it was a month before like the Commander like set came out with like Tuvasa and like Estrid, and like all the enchantment staples of EDH shot up, and I'm like, ho, perfect timing.
Yeah, that's really lucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sarah's Sanctum. Everyone should have bought that card a long time ago.
I bought it for 20.
Wait, yeah, really?
You got a spare, right?
No.
Damn, that's like a steal.
Yeah, it was like, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely building this deck now.
Wow. All right. Due to unforeseen circumstances, during our initial recording, we hit about 2 hours and 45 minutes, the longest episode in the history of our podcast.
Woo.
And I don't think anyone wants to sit down and listen to us talk for that long straight. So what we are doing right now is re-recording an outro for this episode, and then we will post a second part where we talk about all the other cards to Theros, such as all the good non-legendary cards, the lands. Spoiler alert, there actually weren't any. We hope you had a great night. Thank you, Jesse, for coming on. And Blake, where could we find us? Social media accounts. Let's go.
Oh, I don't know. This is why I have you.
All right. So you can find us on YouTube, The Wizard Staff. You can find us on Twitter at The Wizard Staff 101. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. Send us an email at thewizardstaff101@gmail.com. We hope you had a great night, and thank you very much for listening. Peace.
Peace. See you in part 2.